Hello and welcome to the PBV Distance Learning Training Part 1 on communication and connection. We are so glad you guys are joining us today. Thank you for your willingness to learn and grow with us. Before I jump in and get started, we wanted you to know that these sessions are being recorded. If for some reason you have to leave or are disconnected, this will be made available on the PBVU YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Today's training is designed to give you an overview of information in a small amount of time to apply that information. We will be moving fast, but you can go back and view the resources you need on the participants' agenda, which is in the chat. If managing technology is difficult for you, please reach out to a colleague to support you. Or you may want to just sit back and take in the information and then rewatch the video or refer to the agenda later. The agenda for today should be in the chat. It contains all the links you will need as we move forward. But first, let's introduce our team. This is your support team. Let me first introduce Dr. Jason Hodgson. Without him, these trainings could not be possible. He has worked tirelessly to help launch Canvas and distance learning district-wide. We are so thankful for his leadership. And then Shelly, we have our lead, Shelly Tiffin. She is also an instructional services coordinator with PBVU, supporting PBVU Plus and distance learning. And then we have Shannon is coming from Castle STEAM Academy as an engineering specialist. She is now one of your distance learning TOSAs. And myself, my name is Hans Tolman, and I spent 2 years as a Castle STEAM technology specialist and am now your distance learning TOSA. And last but not least, we have Jill Fetters, who has been an academic coach at Tevis for the past 5 years and is now here to support you as a distance learning TOSA. So, way to go, team. Due to the amount of people joining this session, which right now we have 104 people, we will ask that you please keep your mics and muted and your video off. This will limit distractions and help the connection. Please find all the links and resources on today's agenda, which is in the chat. So if you haven't signed in yet, that's where you want to go. For the Q&A document, again, due to the amount of people on the call and our desire to support you, chat is not our preferred method for answering questions. Please use the Q&A document that we will share with you on the top of your agenda. We have several planned pauses in which we will check the chat and the Q&A document. So as we move forward today, I wanted to show you our agenda. So it's at this address right here. And if you were to click on that and open that in a new tab, you would see at the top that you have your sign-in sheet link, you have today's slides, the agenda, the Q&A document that's going to come in handy, and a feedback survey. And below that, you're going to see the outline of where we're going to be going. And if you see anything in blue, that is a helpful resource that you can click on and check out. All right, now, oops, moving too fast. So as we move forward today, here's the Q&A document for you to place your questions on. Let me show you how. You're going to go to this document, which is in the agenda at the top, and at the top, you'll see some instructions on how to tag people. Oh, by the way, if you make a mistake or need to undo something, Control-Z will undo. Below that, you'll see the people who you can tag in the questions. And don't put your questions at the top, but instead go down to where it says add all new questions below, and you're gonna scroll like there's no tomorrow because there's a lot of questions. You just keep on scrolling. But then you're gonna find an empty slot and you're going to add the date, which is the 12th, put your first and last name, and then you're going to ask your questions. Where can we find the recorded videos for these amazing trainings. And then after that, what you would do is so first refer to who to tag section. Andrew is so on it today. Can we just say Andrew's the man? But what you would want to do is you'd want to refer to the very top. Who are you going to tag in regards to your Canvas, Google, and distance learning questions? So going down to my question, I've decided that I want to tag Shannon. So the way you do that is you would highlight the question, and then right across over here, you'll see this little circle with a plus sign and a comment icon in the middle. Click the plus sign. Then you're going to type the plus symbol, and you're going to type the name of the person you want to tag. I want to tag Shannon. Then you're going to click Assign to Shannon Zimmerman, and then you're going to click the blue Assign button. And what that does is when you tag someone with their email, they will get an email notifying them that you tagged them on this document and had a question. And then we will put the answer there, and it will be something similar to Andrew's answer. So when I pause for questions, my colleagues will notify me of only the questions pertaining to the tool that I'm teaching at that time. If there is a time at the end to address other questions, we will. If not, we will place all answers in this document. Nope. It looks like my computer's a little slow right now. All right, so these are our part one objectives for today. We're going to do a quick overview of communication and connection. We are going to generate a secure Google Meet link, and we are going to draft a parent message. Today, we're going to introduce you to the PBVUSD pillars of distance learning and help you get your students to the first day of online school. So these are the three pillars. Pillar one is communication and connection. And these are important parts of the educational process and environment because they help teachers to establish and maintain relationships with students and families. With distance learning, these elements are even more critical for maintaining relationships and communicating resources and learning opportunities to and with our students. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is distance learning management. To successfully provide resources and opportunities to students, teachers need to use the systems and programs available to organize required and supplemental materials. So they're going to develop instruction and support and share and or collect student-generated materials demonstrating their independent learning. And then the last pillar that we're going to be looking at next week is facilitate student engagement. And there's a beautiful image there that will show up someday. While students engage in independent study outside the normal academic environment, teachers should work to facilitate student engagement so that students benefit from support provided by their teachers and district. Teachers should use the tools available in concert to provide timely interaction and feedback to students. You know what? I'm just going to press escape really quick and I'm going to reshare. Well, it looks like my slides are freezing up a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Here, let me try stop sharing. And let me try it one more time. Let me see what I can do here. Yeah, you know what? I think I will pass over the screen sharing to Shannon for now. Shannon to the rescue. We are right there. You got it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shannon. So this week's focus is going to be on communication and connection. Now, to define these terms, when I say communication, I'm talking about the giving and receiving of information between teachers, parents, and students. When I say connection, I mean building positive relationships to develop a culture of learning. So why is this important? Why are we spending our time talking about this? Well, communication and connection, those are the foundations of learning and social emotional wellness. Today, we're going to prepare you for the first day of school, and it starts with communication with the families. If you don't have that, without this critical piece of communication, connection will not happen. So who are we talking about as we think about these communication pieces? We will be giving you strategies and tools for communication between the teacher to the parent, parent to teacher, teacher to student, student to teacher, and eventually we want to get student to student communication. So when is this communication going to happen? Well, it's going to happen in two ways. Synchronously, which means learners attend live events real time on a common platform, typically Google Meet video sessions, or asynchronously, which means learners work and learn at different times and places at their own pace. These activities can be done on their own time without another person present. So where does this happen? Communication can be done within many tools you will be learning about, such as Parent Square, Canvas, video recordings, or discussion boards, or Google Meet, and many more. So with that, I'm going to pause and mute my microphone, and I'm going to even stop sharing just so I can, or actually, no, I'm sharing. You are sharing. Are there any questions? I'll let Shannon and Jill
Yeah, we have a question here. I see Kalina writing a question right now and wondering if we are going to get a G Suite enterprise accounts in order to do breakouts with Google Meets. Great question. So Google Meets is going to be pushing out updates. So we are expecting that we will have features like breakout rooms, waiting rooms, also reactions. So those are coming. We're looking at September, but you can go onto the Google Education, their help site, and find out more details.
All right. Any other questions, either in the chat or the Q&A doc?
There is one more question. Can we use Zoom to meet with students?
Can we use Zoom to meet with students? Well, that's a great question, and it's a very common question that we're having. So Zoom is a very robust program. I know you guys have probably been using it, and it has a lot of features. Unfortunately, it takes a lot more processing power, and it is very robust, and it sometimes doesn't give access to students when they're on their Chromebooks. So we were noticing some problems that were happening over the summer and last spring. So to be more equitable with the students and for them to have better access, the best practice would be to use Google Meet rather than Zoom. And for a couple of reasons. So one of them is that Google Meet is designed to work on a Chromebook. So we're noticing that we're not having near the connection problem. So remember, we're trying to stay connected with the students. I think that is it for right now. We do have a question from Janelle. It says, will my kinders need to log into Canvas, or will they work like Google Classroom? If I log them in, they stay in. That is a great question. They will need to log into Canvas. That is how we are going to be taking attendance. So we're going to be going over that in just a few minutes, and how we're going to get them to the first day of school might look a little different, but after that, every day they need to be able to log into Canvas. All right, back to you, Hans.
All right, I'm gonna try to take back the screen share and see if my device is working. I have high hopes. Let's see if this works. Okay, we'll see how this does. So in thinking about how to get everyone in the same place on day one, we cannot guarantee that parents attended Canvas training or that students know how to access Canvas. PBVU-SD families know Parent Square better than anything else. It might be best to consider starting day one in a synchronous session where teachers have the opportunity to show students how to access Canvas, how to log in, and where they should look first each day. The most secure way to do this is with a Google Meet link generated from Google Classroom. The Google Meet link can be placed in a message in Parent Square, alerting parents and students of the time of the session will begin. Let's make sure you are able to do both of these things in our time together today. So our first task, we are going to move to prepare you for your first live session. We are going to create a secured Google Meet link that will be used for the entire year. Now, if you're a junior high teacher, you will only be creating one link today, but you would need to create different Meet links for each of your periods. I'll show you one time quickly, and then I'm going to do it again and give you some time to complete this task. So let's try this. I'm going to open a new tab, and then I'm going to go to Google Classroom by typing in classroom.google.com. Once I'm in Google Classroom, I'm going to click on the plus sign to create a classroom. Now, if you happen to click on this plus sign and you don't have the option to create a class, then I would reach out to your C5 teacher and have them help you submit an IT ticket to resolve that. So I'm going to click Create Class. And as you put your class name, consider putting your name, your grade level or subject area, if you have a mascot, and then also the school year. So mine might be Mr. Tolman's third grade rock stars, 2020 to 2021. For the section, elementary teachers, most of them put 2021. If you're a junior high teacher, you'd put period 1 or period 2, and so on. For subject, multiple subjects for B. And then for the room number, I would put your physical room number in case your students do come back to a physical school site. And then hit that create button. Now, just to clarify, the reason why we're creating this classroom is to generate this Google Meet link that has the ability to not allow students to enter unless the teacher has activated that meeting by going into it. So once you've created your Google Classroom, you're going to go up here to the top right where you see this settings gear. After you click on the settings gear, you're going to scroll down and look for that Meet icon. And across from it on the right side, click the button that says Generate Meet Link. Once that happens, you're going to use this little pull-down menu and copy it. After that, save. Once you've copied your Google Meet link, you'll be ready for the next task. But now, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to generate your own Google Meet link in Google Classroom. And if you have a classroom from last year, don't use it, make a new one. So I'm going to start the 5-minute timer. And now I'm going to repeat the steps that I've just taken again. And it's going to be more slowly. So if you need support with this, check this out. I gotcha. We're going to go nice and slow. In a new tab, you can press Control T to get to that new tab. You can either type classroom.google.com, or you can find the Google icon in this little waffle looking app launcher. We call it the waffle. Down below, you will see the classroom icon, and then you click on it. Once you get into Google Classroom, if you've never used Google Classroom, you may have to sign in with your PBV USD account, and then you'll have to acknowledge that, yes, I'm a teacher, not a student. Once you get into this Google Classroom class page, you're going to look over at the far right on the top and look for that little plus sign. Once you see it, click on it. Then you're going to scroll down to your Create Class option. Click Create Class. For your class name, you want to include your name, your grade level or subject that you teach, if you have a mascot, and then the school year. So mine will be Mr. Tolman's 3rd grade Rock Stars 2020 to 2021. For my section in elementary, I put the year again so that my students can look over their classes they've had in the past and they can distinguish my class from the other classrooms. In the subject area, put whatever subjects you teach. You can put something different than multiple subjects if you want. For the room, put your physical room number. I'll give you a few seconds to fill out that Create Class form. If you like the speed, how slow I'm going, drop it in the chat. Let us know. Then, after you're done filling out that Create Class form, look for the blue Create word at the bottom right corner of that form, and then click Create. After it's done processing and creating your classroom, where do you click to find the Google Classroom settings gear? Look at the top right there, next to your waffle and your profile picture. There's the settings gear. You can click on that. Click on the Google Classroom settings gear. Thanks. You're going to scroll down, look under General, look for that Google Meet green icon, and then go to the right of that and look for the button, the white button that says Generate Meet Link. If you're watching me, you can watch what happens. You click it, and it generates that unique Google Meet link for that specific classroom. Then look for that little triangle next to the Google Meet link, click it, and then select Copy. Then you're going to click Save. And now you've completed the task to generate a Google Meet link. If you need more time, you have 35 seconds. Cue the music. If you're done, you can dance in front of your colleagues. There's no shame in that. Let's see how many people like that slow pace. Sweet.
We had
Thanks.
definitely had some thank yous for that, Hans.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback. Great. All right. We're going to move on. Now, before we move on, Are there any questions in the Q&A doc or the chat that we need to address?
So yes, can we, one person would like to see that repeated, but can we maybe point them to the agenda where they can find that?
Absolutely. So in the agenda for today, if you look below to item 5, I've listed out every single step, and we've included a tutorial video on how to do that. So make sure you use that agenda. Oh, getting some feedback. Can we mute the other people?
Mm-hmm. Come on.
All right. Oh, still hearing it. That may be you, Shannon. Okay. So please refer back to your agenda. Any other questions? I'll go on mute and see if Shannon has any more.
All right, let's look. Hmm. I think we're good right now. We have someone, we have an Andrew who's in the middle of a question, but let's go ahead and move on so he can get finished with that question.
All right, here we go.
Oh, we have one more question before we move on from the chat. It says, can the agenda be accessed after the meeting? And the answer is yes. So if you want, you can go ahead and make a copy, or actually don't make a copy when I want to keep it live in case we put updates on that, but you can give it a star, put it in your favorites, or add a shortcut to your drive or bookmark it however you save documents.
Awesome, thanks, Shannon. Okay, moving forward. So now that you have your Google Classroom generated Google Meet link, how are you going to get it to your students? Well, the main platform we're using this year is Canvas. So we have to find a way to get your kids on Canvas so they can access that Google Meet link. And I'm going to demo that. You won't have time to practice this, but you'll be able to refer back to this video and follow these steps. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a home page course. Then we're going to add a module to that course and then add a Google Meet link. Let me show you what I mean. In my Canvas account, in my dashboard, the first thing I need to do is create a course, a new course. So on the far right, I see a button that says Start a New Course. I'm going to click on that. And again, you're just watching, you're not doing this. Under course name, I'm going to call this Homepage 4. So this is the 4th time I've made this. And then I'm going to click Create Course. So now the students will see this course. They see that it's a homepage course, but how do we add that meet here? Well, we're going to click this plus module button, or add a module blue button. And then we're going to include a module name. I'm going to call this Getting Started with Distance Learning. And then I'm going to click the blue Add Module button. And now I have my module. Right across from it, there's a plus sign. That's how I add files to this module. I'm going to click that. But instead of adding an assignment, I'm going to use this pull-down menu and select External Link. That means it's going to be a website or link outside of the Canvas platform. And then I'm going to click right in the field where it says URL, and I'm going to paste that generated Google Meet link into here, into this field. But how do I paste that? Control what? Control V. My technology ninjas know that. Control V. 1, 2, 3. Control V equals paste. For the page name, I'm going to call that Google Meet link. Right below that, I have an option to load in a new tab. So instead of replacing Canvas with the Google Meet, and now they can't get back to Canvas without leaving the Meet, I'm going to load this in a second tab so they can get to the Google Meet and then back to Canvas if they need to. So I'm going to click this blue Add Item button, And now I have a course called Homepage 3. When I click on it, and there it is. Oh, I think I needed to publish that.
I think you made homepage 4.
Right, it was page 4. Great job paying attention, people, because I sure didn't. Let me open that again. There's my module, there's my Google Meet link, but I have to publish them. So looking for that little, looks like a stop sign, but you want to turn that into a green check mark, and then green check mark publish. So now when my students go into their Canvas, they will see that home page and have access to that Google Meet link. So I would love to give you time, but we got stuff to do, which is task 2. So next we are going to demonstrate how you can draft your initial communication with families using Parent Square. And for this, I'm going to pass the mic and the screen over to Shannon. Shannon, take it away.
All right, I sure will. Oops, there we go. Let me share my screen with you. Most of you are familiar with Parent Square. So when we open up Parent Square, we land on the post, the homepage where we see all of our posts. Once your rosters are populated, your groups are populated into Parent Square, you'll find them over here on the top right. So you can pull down. Right now, I just have a couple of groups. So I'm going to choose the CES group. And you'll see the green button at the top. Click there to create a new post. Notice how that auto-populated for me. If there was nothing in there, or if you wanted to add multiple groups, you can just add them right here in the To section. Make sure you fill out a subject, letting the parents know that this is your first day of school communication. And then down in the description, we have some really important information to put in that section. And Hans has created a really a nice example for you guys. You can find it in your agenda, and it's also, there's a link on the slides. But I'm going to pass it back over to him. Just be aware that if you don't have the capability right now to communicate with your parents because Parent Square isn't quite there for you, you can create this in a Google Doc and then just copy and paste that information into this section, the description section, when you're ready to send that out. All right, back to you, Hans.
All right, thank you, Shannon. I'm going to share my screen. All right, let's jump back into it. So on your agenda, if you are still there, if you scroll down under item 5, tasks, look at task 2. It says draft a Parent Square welcome message on a Google Doc or make a copy of this template. And if you click on this template, I'm going to actually drop a link in the chat. Or maybe Shannon, maybe you can drop a link for me. But here you'll see an example that I wrote of a letter that I would send to my parents. And it has an introduction, letting them know when the first day of school is. It also has a link to the PBVUSD website so they can sign up or watch the parent Canvas trainings. Also, if your students need help logging into Chromebooks, if you have little students and they need help with that, there's some Chrome at Home guides in English and Spanish. Check those out. If those are helpful, feel free to make a copy and use them. And this also may be a good time to give the parents and students the class code. So if the students want to access class code, that could be a potential first contact. Some teachers may supplement with Google Classroom, having Canvas there as their main platform. You can also give directions on how they can log into Canvas. I've left an example link for that. This can also be a place where you alert them to the Google Meet link and let them know when you'll be meeting and include that Meet link so the parents know what platform you'll be using. And you can also include a class schedule. Now for bonus ideas, if this was me, I would include office hours, and I would encourage my parents to stop in one of the office hours during that first week and maybe even the second week so that I can answer their questions. I'd also make a Google form to collect student and parent information that would be helpful for distance learning. I'm going to be showcasing an example I made later this week, and there's also a Twitter thread on student forums. And for those of you who want to take your communication and connection to the next level, like super spicy, you can host a Flipgrid instructions grid where students can go in, they can respond to a prompt, like maybe introductions, and they could record a video of themselves sharing their introductions, and then they could view their other peers' introductions, and they could reply to their peers' introductions with videos, and you can reply. So it's a way to activate the student voice and give you an opportunity to get to know your students and see their faces. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to give you some time to start drafting your parent message on either a Google Doc. You can just open a new Google Doc at docs.new, or you can grab that example, which is also here in the slides and in that agenda. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes. On your marks, get set, go. If you are totally clueless, here's what you should be doing right now. Because how are you going to get your students there on the first day? By reaching out to your parents. And you do that with Parent Square. So start drafting your Parent Square message. You can start a new doc by going to docs.new, press enter, or you can grab that example that I showed you in the agenda. Here's the agenda, and you would go under item 5 tasks to task 2, this template. And to make a copy, you can just open it and click file and make a copy. That way you'll have your own and change it however you see fit. I'm going to give you about two more minutes. If you're done with your draft, dance party, BBV dance off, I'll start. It's really bad. I gotta stop. Someone's asking a great question, Jennifer, about those blue links. I would try copying and pasting from the Google Doc first and check those links. If they're not active, you may have to highlight those links in your Parent Square kind of rich text editor, and you may have to re-insert those hyperlinks. So it's a little extra work. I would hope that Parent Square would welcome those links and make them live for you, because that would save time for you. But I don't make the rules. All right. One more minute, people. Make it an amazing parent message. Oh, Brett says the links are active. Thanks, Brett. That guy's awesome. That's good news. Molly, you are welcome. Where can we find today's agenda? Let me drop that in for you, Christy. Did we do that? Okay. Shannon's on it. All right, finish up your final few words. Okay. So hopefully you guys had a chance to at least start a draft for your parent message. So now we're going to open it up for questions that you may have dropped in the Q&A document, and I'm going to pass it over to Shannon and Jill. So I'm going to go on mute.
All right, we do have a question from Andrew. It says, is there a fresh ETA for our full featured accounts, or are we still in the Friday before students arrive?
They are working as hard and as fast as they can to get it all connected for us. It's a major feat to do what we're asking. So just hang in there and please be patient. It will come as soon as they can get it all accomplished, and we would all like to have it sooner, but just please be patient with us.
Thank you. Okay, our next question. If the parents click on the Google Meet link and I'm not there, will they get an error message? Is that correct?
I believe so. Actually, no.
Jill, you want to take this one?
Okay, if you're saying a parent and if they're using their student's K-12 account, they will just you as a teacher allow them into your room. But if it's a parent using say a Yahoo account or a different personal Gmail account, the teacher has to allow them into the room because it's outside of our domain. The teacher gets a message that someone's asking access from outside of the school domain.
All right, and that's completes our questions from the Q&A doc.
Okay. So for those of you who are worried about your Canvas setup, my encouragement to you is to hope for the best, plan for the worst. We hope that they come out soon. We don't know. We wish we had answers for you. I would focus on what you can control, which is your communication with your students' parents. So get that message out and start that communication so that you have students show up on day one. And someone's asking, how many students can you see at one time on Google Meets? I believe you can go up to at least 100. I believe our account does at 250. But if you're talking about the grid view, I believe the updates that are rolling out starting in September will enable you to see 48 students at a time in grid view on Google Meet. I believe that's one of the updates. Awesome. Well, guys, it's now time for us to close our time together. So please Let us know if there was something that was bugging you or something that we can do to make this better. Would you let us know in this feedback form? We're going to be looking over your responses and using your feedback for this session to work on part 2 to make that better. So if you think this is awesome, that's because teachers have already been giving us feedback that we've used to improve this session. So we really heavily rely on you to help us make this get better. And with that, please sign out on your way out the door. And before you leave, you can say hello in the chat, and you can dance your way out the door or whatever you want to do. So thanks for coming, and we will see you next time. You're welcome, Susanna. B. Malavar, you are welcome. Brett, always a pleasure, my friend. Sergio, glad you could join us. Oh, thanks for that, Jill. Saints, we'll see you later. Ingrid, you are welcome. Jennifer, so glad you got to join us. So Sandra, if you didn't sign in, I would make sure that you're signed into your PPBUSD account and try again on the agenda. We can, maybe I'll have one of the ladies drop in the direct link to that sign-in form, sign-in, sign-out form. Sawa, thank you so much for coming. Madison.
Thanks, David.
Matt. See you later. Amy. You're welcome. You're welcome, Bianca. Thanks for coming. Kalina, I know you. Rebecca, you could join us. Thanks, David. It took every but that's just because, you know.
Janelle, I have an answer for your question. So the way we created our Google Meet through Classroom secures it. So if you are not in that Meet, students cannot get in. However, if you leave them in there, and then they can be in there by themselves. So once you start the Meet, you have to be in there for your kids from your class to get in. But just make sure that everybody is out before you leave that Meet. Hopefully that helps. Oh, Miss Shannon Hilton, you're welcome.
Shannon Hilton.
Shannon Hilton's in the house.
Carly's leaving me some fun messages. Hang in there, Carly. I'm doing this alongside you.
Yep.
Man. Good to see you, Shannon. And General, good to see you.
Thanks, Bianca.
Carly, notice my slow roll.
All right, should we stop our recording?
Yes, let's stop that. I'm gonna stop it right now.